aiming certain objectives would not actually target the problem.
I think that's a very important point. When I was serving in the UN as High Commissioner for Human Rights, I used to describe deep poverty as one of the worst human rights violations. Do you see it that way?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, maybe you in the middle, in the green. Is it green you're wearing?
Yeah, this is what I think. Poverty is the root cause of every issue. If you are not if you are not available with the resources, if a family is poor, so how could they can manage to get their children educated? This is what I feel.
And how do you think that as clearly committed young people with a lot of educational background yourselves, how do you think that you can get the message out?
Basically, it's like we being students probably can't do as much as we would want to. But in our small way, we all try over here to do just the same. Might be the MDGs or any other social issues. We are really, if we are really committed, we try to do it in our small way, our small group of people. We go out, we reach out to people. At least we spread the awareness about issues, because awareness is the first step towards change, I feel.
Yes.
And even for the MDGs, for that matter, the whole issue, as my friend earlier said, is to target the people, the real beneficiaries, the real people who are in need, and to implement it in a proper manner, so that they are really benefited from it.
And the great thing is that what you describe as small groups, if they come together, many of them become a very large mobilization, as we will see. Last year it was 116 million people who stood up against poverty, and I hope it will be maybe twice that or 3 times. But I see 3 people at the back who haven't had a chance to talk yet, so yes, please.
If you talk about the HCs in the India, then they are totally excluded from the main society.
Yes.
They are having an opportunity. They are not attached to the mainstreaming. They are totally excluded from the society. In the society, they are not getting benefit for the all schemes. Means the schemes get granted, but they are not implemented in a well manner. Means there is not a proper channelization of there. If you, for the example, if I talk, then there is an act that is called Manual Scavenging and Rag Adherent Act, 1993. But there is even a single case which is registered against the offenders who is performing this dry actings. So till it is not implemented in a perfect way. So this is a disparity. The schemes made, but on the papers, they are not implemented in a real. This is
Yes, I think that's a very important point you've made. As a lawyer, I can see the value sometimes of court cases, but it doesn't work unless the results are implemented and the discrimination is removed and they are part of the policy making in a central way. So you have to keep up the efforts. Remember that the struggle of human rights is a struggle. You know, we have to keep engaged. So what about the other 2 who haven't had a chance yet? Are you in the back?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I would like to tell about the my sector belongs to reducing the private sector, and I have to describe a little bit about it.
Yes.
The candidates belongs to the poor community, and we need to arise that issues in the private sector, because in the government sector they are giving some opportunities, but not completely. Poor SC, STs unable to get that kind of opportunity.
Yes.
But we need to give our focus to the private sector, and this kind of system should be there implemented in the private sector for the SC, ST youths. And this one is also the case in India also.
I agree with that point because I think in this century the private sector has to take a big responsibility because it's so powerful. Governments are doing less, and the private sector is doing more in all sectors. And so what we are now working on, and I would welcome your support in this, is to make business aware that it must respect all human rights. There is a mandate of Professor Ruggie, who is the special representative of the Secretary General on business and human rights, and we are working closely with him. And so all corporations, all the private sector in India and elsewhere will have to gradually realize that they must respect all human rights. So they mustn't discriminate, they must have proper health and safety, they must not discriminate on the grounds of gender or the Dalits or any other issue. So you can also join that wide campaign and make the private sector more accountable.
Definitely.
Cases behind that in India, everything is going through privatization.
Yes.
Government is on the back foot, and the government is reducing its size, and that's why the private sector is growing in India.
Yes.
And we are demanding that reservation must be implemented in private sector, because in last 50 years, because of reservation, some people have overcome their poverty, and in private sector is a very large sector. 98% of the jobs are there in private sector. And if private sector introduce reservation or some other types of support to Dalits, to SC/STs, then it will be very supportive to if they improve their conditions.
I agree very much with that point. Yep, go on. Yes.
A very important point. Until or unless you do not give support or you do not give reservation and special kind of benefits to SCs and scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, you cannot achieve the Millennium Goal, World Millennium Goals. Since the poverty lies in this section, I mean scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and scheduled caste is the much more population of India. I mean Indian population. India has got its more population in scheduled caste.
Yes.
So until or unless you do not give support, especially kind of attention towards these marginalized group, you cannot achieve the goals, and the policies will not be supported.
Yeah.
And in order to achieve these goals, all these things, you need to focus these marginalized groups.
And
it is not enough to give the reservation to the people who are belong to the SC/STs. Instead of making them systematically sensitized as well as making them aware, because there are many more schemes running by the government for the people who are belong to the categories, means the marginal community, but they are not aware of them. Till they are lagging behind in education, economic, politics, the participation is not there. There is a lack of participation because there is not a systematic sensitization. They are not aware about the schemes,
and lack of monitoring and corruption is also there. Government is very sincere in many schemes, and government wants people to come forward to look up the issues and to monitor all these activities. But the problem lies, the monitoring committee gets corrupt, and the entire issues which are initiatives which are taken in field are corrupted generally. So corruption is also the reason which is the cause of concern, or which causes problems.
thank you very much. I'm really impressed with what you've each been telling me, because you take a very human rights approach, concerned about the more marginalized, concerned about the discrimination and the dropout of the girl child, the girls more than boys and girl students more than boy students. I have great confidence now when I listen to you as young citizens of your country with such a strong sense, and we will be doing the same thing in a few days' time. We will be standing up in different parts of the world against poverty and against discrimination and in favour of the dignity and worth of every human being, which is the human rights language. You've actually become a photograph now. I can't see you moving